Hello. My name is NicholassRivas. I talk about politics and stuff, and today we're going to be talking about the Halloween Ends movie. That was the worst movie I've ever seen. That was terrible. I hated Halloween Kills, and I knew Halloween End was going to suck because the director did not seem consistent. The guy seemed like he was either being, secondhand told what to do by the studio, or COVID really messed up his shooting schedule and plan, because initially, from what I remember, is that the movies were supposed to be pretty closely filmed and worked on together. I know in 2018, the Halloween that came out was great. I loved it. One of my favorite iterations of the Michael Myers character. I was very surprised that this guy who did like rom-coms made a pretty good Michael Myers movie. I don't know what happened after that. I know COVID messed up Halloween Kills. That's my assumption. Maybe the movie just sucked. But I recall seeing and hearing that it kind of messed up the shooting plans. I mean, the movie was supposed to come out, I think, in 2020, but then they didn't shoot until late 2020, maybe early 2021. It didn't come out until Halloween of 2021. So I assume there was some mess up because of COVID. But I also think the studio just, interfered, and this is there's no proof here. I'm just making this assumption on myself because I don't know where the movie went wrong. I definitely think the writing just sucks, but it's just weird that it was so drastically sucking. Like, the first movie was fine. The dialogue wasn't anything to write home about, but it wasn't like this bad, Like, I don't know what happened in between these movies, or maybe he just got very lucky. I mean, it happens, but I did not like the last Halloween Ends. Like this, I'm very glad it's ending. This was just terrible. The dialogue was awful. The story didn't make sense. A lot of the motivations didn't make sense either. Like the characters were like so much to go. Okay, the kid that died, I get it. The way it was set up, obviously he looked like he murdered that kid. Okay, cool, fine. He gets bullied for it by the marching band. Also, the way Laurie Strode's granddaughter, she sees him, like, she sees the back of his head, and she's like, oh my god, he's so fucking hot. I'm like, what the hell's going on there? And then, on top of that, I just got wrecked on by that, by the way. The damn kid, the killer kid, tells her that he's killed, and she's like, oh my god, tell me about it. Like, lady, you're a victim of a serial killer. Like, you should be horrified by this guy, at the very least scared of the fucking guy. Michael lets him free. Oh, this is a spoiler, by the way. I don't like this movie. I hate this movie. Michael lets her go. Michael lets the guy go because he sees it in his eyes that he's been hurt. And the way they do it, I get it was for the story. Like, you had to describe what the hell Michael was seeing, but it like shows a flashback of all the kids' like pain and suffering, and Michael then just lets him go. Like, are none of the characters he's ever murdered had the same pain and suffering before? I don't. Laurie Strode saw her friends die. Like, you think he would have seen that in her eyes? But on top of that, Michael then lets. He lets him go. The kid goes back after murdering like the homeless dude, and then he like tells his girlfriend that he murdered someone, and she does nothing. She goes, cool. I don't get it. And then Laurie Strode sees it in his eyes that he is a murderer, and she goes, yeah, I can see it in his eye. Something's wrong with him. He has Michael's eyes. Like, what the fuck does that mean? They try to do this shit in the Halloween, I think 4 or 5, with the little girl who was wearing the clown mask, and it didn't work. There was a reason why that movie had to be rebooted. I mean, I think it's the 5th one, where that's when they started involving magical shit, and that's when they rebooted. But I didn't like the plot of that little girl taking over the Michael, mantle. But Jesus Christ, they've done this so many fucking times. It's like, gee, like just get a new fucking character, guys. Get a new character. But on top of all of that, I think just the dialogue, the dumb, weird moments, we're all fine and dandy, I guess. They weren't the worst of the worst. But what was weird about them all was that I think the characters could have at least been interesting, but all of them just really pissed me off. Like, I liked Laurie's granddaughter in the last movie. I thought she was really interesting, but I didn't think they did anything with her now, or they made her just look really weird, and she was backseat to the kid killer guy. I don't even know his fucking name. I did not like it. I hated it. I didn't like kills. Like, I wanted to have fun like everyone else did, and I was definitely entertained, but I was like, I'm not watching this movie again. This is terrible. I don't get it. I don't get it how they fumbled so bad. I didn't even finish it, honestly. I fell asleep. It's on streaming. I fell asleep. I don't like the movie. I think it's really stupid. I think a lot of the motivation's dumb. The kills could have been cooler too. Like when that girl walks into the guy getting stabbed, I was like, oh, alright, this is cool, this is cool. And then they just mimic the same shit that happened in Halloween, where he stabs her to the wall and it holds her in place, which is physically impossible. Like, I don't know why you guys want to revisit that kill. I know it's iconic, but it's one of the least possible outcomes of doing that. So yeah, whatever. Ultimately though, I think it's a terrible movie. I hate this trilogy, and I was really liking the first one, so that really sucks. And I think with the Michael Myers stuff, they just don't know what to do with him. Like, I think he's been rebooted and redone so much, and I like the direction. Like, oh, there's a killer inspired, and killer is helping this kid kill. I'm okay with that. I think that's fine. I think the way it was done was really choppy. And I think the way that the director's handling it all is just awful. If he had a different series, I think this had a lot of potential, but I think they had to hit some beats because it was a Michael Myers movie. But if it was a whole new IP, there would have been stuff they could have done. And it just leaves me with the, look, guys, we've rebooted this 3.5 times. There was the first Halloween 1 and 2, and then Season of the Witch was supposed to be how the movies were supposed to take after the Michael Myers story, but no, they came back to it for 4 or 5, and I think there's a 6, and it did terrible. They wanted to reboot it, so then they brought in the Halloween H2O series, trying to kind of retcon some of the newer movies at the time, and then they come back with the Rob Zombies, and then they come back with the 2018 trilogy, and it's like, guys, we've rebooted this. It sounds about to be like actually 3.5 or maybe 4 times we rebooted the story and retconned some movies and yada yada. Let's just leave it be. Can we just leave it be? Like, I'm not having a good time anymore. But yeah, we'll see, I guess, what happens with the next movies, because it's definitely not over from what I heard. Like, people were saying that the ending reflects a continuation to the story. I didn't watch the ending. I'm gonna finish it right now when I get the chance, but I don't want to watch it. I'm gonna like grit my teeth and try to finish it. I hate this movie. Well, I'm gonna let the gameplay just finish here, because I feel like, oh, why did I do that? I feel like there's nothing else I can really say. So yabba dabba doo, gabagool.
One behind you, tunnel. Tunnel.
Show those imperialists this was no fluke. Switching rally points. Defend the objectives. Charge is diffused.